shoot, I lost it. Dang it. I'm sorry.
I had such a convincing argument. You didn't have anything to say after.
No, you've sold me apparently.
With Xbox, with Steam, with Valve. Bill, can you talk today? Could you, please? This episode of the NerdNest is brought to you by channel sponsor DBRAND. Portable hardware is awesome, but it's way more prone to damage. So if you want to make sure that your tech is protected, then make sure that you check out channel sponsor DBRAND. This is the Xbox Ally Kill Switch case, and I have to say this is a really fantastic case. First off, it fits the Xbox Ally X like an absolute glove, so it's not adding too much extra bulk to your device, but it's got this really nice rubberized texture around the outside that feels really good in the hands. It makes it harder for you to drop these things. Around on the back, we have a kickstand, and as you can see when I open up the kickstand right here, you actually have a slot so you can put extra SD cards in there, which is super handy because games take up a lot of room. But what makes a kill switch case is this cover right here. All you have to do is snap it on there, and now your entire device is protected. It covers up the triggers as well as the joysticks. There's nothing that's going to happen to this case, but it still gives you access to your USB ports so that you can charge while you have this in a case. This means you can throw this in your bag and you don't have to worry about your triggers or your joysticks getting damaged. And for Black Friday, the Kill Switch Ultra kits are $45 off. And right now, DBRAND's even throwing in a set of robot-themed playing cards. So don't take any chances with your tech. Protect it with DBRAND. Now, back to the show. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the NerdNest podcast. I'm your host, Bill Fairchild, and I'm joined today by Rich. How's it going, Rich?
I'm doing great. I'm still in the Steam ecosystem, Steam hardware high. But yeah, I'm doing good. Yeah. 2
weeks, 2 videos.
That's
Are you
right.
back?
I'm not claiming anything anymore. Who knows? I could be gone again next week.
All I could think of was that in John Wick when Keanu Reeves is like, everybody keeps asking if I'm back. I'm thinking I'm back.
Good stuff. Yes. One of my favorites.
And Russ, what's going on, man?
Nothing much. Just I want to let you guys know I am also back. So I am back after 2 days off.
He's back, just like Keanu Reeves. All right, we got a lot of stuff to talk about. I threw together a hodgepodge of news stuff to talk about that happened this week. But I want to start off with this quote from the Baldur's Gate 3 publishing chief, Michael Dowse, who I actually recently talked about something else that he said on a video of mine. But he said something kind of interesting when talking about the Steam machine. And I'm not going to go through the whole thing that he said, but the long and short of it is that he says Valve made the Steam machine weak on purpose because the people who would care about the performance issues that you wouldn't get with the Steam machine, they already know how to build their own Steam machine and install SteamOS or Bazite on it, which I've done. And I was wondering what you guys think about that idea that, I mean, yeah, it's more powerful than 70% of Steam users' hardware. Did Valve make it cheap on purpose because they know that the people who care about that, they already have the rigs that they want, or they already know how to build the rigs that they want? Rich, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I certainly think so. I think we, if not like directly said so in last week's episode, we probably alluded to that. But by the time I made my video, which was after we recorded the podcast, and a lot of what we talked about on the podcast, I incorporated into my video. By the time I had made that, I felt pretty secure in that, yes, Valve was going for affordability. And to kind of supplement that, when I was doing that video, I was looking for kind of some of the interviews that Valve had done and looking through what they've said, and that they pretty much said it, right? Like they were targeting affordability. They were also targeting like a system that could be quiet and that could be not run so hot, right? Which is why, 75% of it is just heatsink. So
Yeah, it's huge.
yeah. So I think that that is certainly what they were going for. And partially, yes, because of just, if you're targeting that high end, you know how to get the high end by now. And they exhibited that with Steam Deck too, as Michael Dowse had said, where, you have the ROG Xbox Ally X or you have the Legion Go S or the Legion Go 2, if you want something with more power. But the Steam Deck and the Steam Machine are more targeting everybody. If you want more power, you know where to go.
So here's my question to that, and I'm going to ask Russ to answer this. You know how to build your own Steam machine and install SteamOS or Bazzite on it if you want. Rich does. I do. Do you wish that they had more powerful options for you so you didn't have to? Or are you like, well, you know what? I think I can. I'm just going to build it myself if I want. What do you think about that, Russ?
Well, I think that, they, in conjunction with creating the Steam machine, they are probably going to update SteamOS to, which I think already is at that level where, yes, it's living room friendly, And so I think that there's always going to be that option for people who want to have, more powerful hardware, just put SteamOS on it themselves, The thing, I've done this several times, and I generally don't put Bazzite on a living room setup. I usually do Windows because I need to access whatever it happens to be, or maybe it doesn't run on whatever. I want to play my Destiny and so on. And every time I set it up, I'm like, okay, I got Windows going. I can log in automatically. Everything's going. And then the first thought I have every time is like, how long until this breaks? Like, how long do I have until it's not going to work anymore? Or some Windows update or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, I've got it right now. And every time it just gets, it just goes to crap. And so that's kind of the cool thing about the Steam machine is they're just taking care of that stuff, right? And that's the gap. And that's the thing I'm excited about, Maybe I'm not the target audience for it because I've got, powerful computer hardware and whatnot. But it doesn't matter. There's such a larger population out there who don't have something like this or don't have the ability to do it. And that's who they're targeting. And so it's just this funny place that we're in where the people listening to this probably also know how to do it. Yeah. But they're also, again, probably not the Steam machine target audience per se.
And I can't tell you how many comments I had on my video that were like, yeah, I know how to do all of that. I already have a PC that I love, and I'm still going to get a Steam machine, right? So, like, certainly there are people that are not. They have what they need. They don't need anything else. So they don't want to get a Steam machine, and that's fine. But it's fascinating that it is also intriguing to people that know what they're doing, and they're like, you know what? I also want a Steam machine. I know how to do that, but when it comes to maybe my living room setup or my TV, I just want a plug and play, and I just want to jump right in.
Yeah, and I think that's a thing that is important to realize is that there is that subset of consumer out there, and Valve is. I'm not saying that they're making a mistake because I don't think that they are, but they could serve those consumers as well as the people that don't know how. Like they could serve both markets at the same time by just putting out a different SKU that has more power and obviously costs quite a bit more.
So I think that it's actually smart that they don't try to do that because those who are tech savvy are going to build their own computer or maybe looking for something more powerful, they also are good at just using the internet and might be able to find deals and might be able to build something for a lot cheaper too. So I feel like tailoring to that high-end audience is just going to be a losing proposition because they will probably be able to find something cheaper because they're online. These are people who know tech, know what things are worth, and so I kind of see that as being the right way to go is to target the kind of people who just can't be bothered. They can't be bothered making their own computer. They can't be bothered dealing with the OS part. Those are the people who aren't going to really care if it is a price premium over or under, the actual going rate if they built it themselves. Whereas at the high end, then you're fighting with the 1%, and you don't want to fight those guys.
And in that way too, right? Like those folks on the high end are also the folks that are going to leave sooner, right? The people that are willing to buy something that is lower spec, these are the people that are going to stick around with the Steam Machine for longer. I don't know if that's what Valve is thinking about, but what I mean is, right, like we know from the Steam Deck, you're going to go probably 3 years without an announcement for a Steam Machine 2. Maybe you'll get like a Steam Machine Pro or something like that in a couple years, but it's probably going to be 3 years at least before we hear anything about a Steam Machine 2. And so even if you do target that high-end consumer, they're going to turn around the next year when there is something that provides that Pro experience, and they're going to sell their Steam Machine and go buy that Pro.
Yeah, it's funny that, we're talking about this, and it reminded me of a comment that I saw when I posted the poll last week about, like, what do people like the most? And this comment is from Foxdart. And they said, wow, Bill, this poll is such an amazing representation of your viewer base / demographic. I would have, this is Foxdart's phrasing, not me. I would have assumed everyone in here understood the limits on the machine and most likely had their own higher end rig. We're talking 2060 super performance here, not great shakes. Likewise, with an enthusiast audience, I would have thought that the frame is the clear standout from hardware and software. Clearly, I'm mistaken, and you've gathered many like yourself who, aside from exposure to carry, don't really mind the speeds and feeds and simply want something that works. And they absolutely nailed it. That's the thing that people really, really want. They want something that just works, and you don't have to think about. That's what makes a console a console. And I know that Valve's doing cartwheels back and forth saying this is a PC. I'm aware it's a PC, but it's also a console.
There's good reason for them to do cartwheels too, because there are like financial and legal implications of if it's not considered a PC. So I definitely understand that. And I want to say, like, first of all, amazing introspection, right, from Foxstar. That's really, those are really good points. And one thing that I harped on my video was, I think I think it's fair to say we have to give Valve a little bit of the benefit of the doubt that they know what they're doing here, right? So like with the Steam Deck, and we talked about this last week, it was underpowered, just as Michael Dowse is saying, right? And they still delivered on what they said they were going to do, which was 800p 30. And you can argue against that, to be fair, with some titles, but I think pretty much every title that was available at the time was 800p 30, and they delivered that. And they said that this is more powerful than what 70% of people own. And I think in your heart, right, if you're watching this, you probably know that to be true. Even if you didn't do the math yourself, you didn't look at the Steam hardware survey, I think you probably would acknowledge that 70% of people are gaming on something that's less powerful than the Steam machine. And then the other claim they had made was 6 times more powerful, or 6 times as powerful as the Steam Deck. And you look at like the Fox's video, I forget who else did benchmarks, but a couple people, ETA Prime maybe, a couple people did benchmarks. And I think it came out to like, if you run the same game at the same exact specs, you're going to get 5 to 6 times the performance. You're going to hit that 6 times when you're playing a GPU bottleneck game. Maybe it'll be a little less than 6 times when you're not. But my point is, these things that they said would happen, that they were claiming, all turned out to be pretty true, right? Which is a stark contrast to what we're used to from hardware manufacturers. And, I understand why we have that notion to distrust at first, but I think Valve has earned some of that trust.
You know who else I think earns trust pretty well in that regard when it comes to, we're going to say what it can do, is Apple. When it comes to battery life, they, like, for years you would see a laptop or some other piece of hardware or whatever, and they would talk about, oh, it gets this kind of battery life, and then the reviewers would get their hands on it and they'd be like, no it doesn't. Apple's always pretty much lines up with what they say it's going to get, which is really nice. And I feel like since Apple started doing that, more companies are more honest about the battery life that you get. It used to be way worse. Everybody was just freaking making up nonsense. Like they would, turn everything down to the bare minimum, turn the brightness down. Like they would make the machine work in a way where nobody would ever use it like this. And then they would say, you get 4 hours of battery life on this. And you're like, holy cow, 4 hours of battery life. That sounds great. But in a real world scenario where you've got the brightness up because you're in a coffee shop and it's like shining down on you or whatever. And you're doing something that is using the power of the machine that you're using. You never got that kind of battery life. And I think that that's different now. And that's why when Apple says what their battery life numbers are, I'm usually believe them. And so Valve has proven that we should trust what they're going to say about the device that they're selling us. When they say it has this much performance, it's probably because they tested it and they know that the people who are most interested in their stuff tend to be the biggest nerds. And they're like, you know what? They can test this stuff, so we better make sure that we get it right because they're going to call us out on this. And I think that that's a good thing.
Yeah.
You can see that with who they choose as reviewers, right? So they go immediately to Gamers Nexus. Gamers Nexus and Digital Foundry are always in the first wave, and they know they're going to be tested for sure.
Right, and they have the equipment to do it. Like, they got the crazy stuff. Like, what does Gamers Nexus have? They got like that chamber with the sound chamber.
Yeah. I forget what it's called, but yeah, they have that.
I just want to go and check out their stuff because that sounds so cool.
So cool.
All right. One of the things that they showed off during all of the different videos was like they had like a B-roll zone where everybody was in there shooting video. And one of the things that you saw was like this front cover of the Steam machine that had like an e-ink display. And, somebody had said, oh, they're not going to make that, or they're not going to sell that, or I don't know if they're going to make that. And immediately everybody said, well, people will make that. And now people are making that. And JSOX, who, full transparency, they're not sponsoring this episode, but they've sponsored lots of my episodes in the past. Oh my goodness.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. It just scared me because I wasn't looking at the screen. So they are bringing out like Steam Machine front panels with built-in screens. They have an e-ink one, an LCD one, and a dot matrix one. So I mean, we gotta pick who's gonna buy which one. Like, which one would you want to pick up, Russ?
Yeah, it really comes down to how is this thing going to be powered? Is there going to be a little like hub like in the motherboard or something? Like, how are they going to plug this screen in? I don't want it taking up a USB port.
Right.
And so I think e-ink probably would be the way I would go because it's going to last a lot longer, And so if I got to pull it off and charge it once a month, then that's a lot easier than, some sort of LCD or dot matrix thing. So I think I would go with whatever solution is the most convenient is probably what I would do.
I think it is battery based because in that Twitter post, it says they give you the three choices, right? And for LCD, it says LCD bright battery killer, right? So they're kind of saying that's the downside is battery killer. The upside is that it's bright. Also in that post, by the way, they say they'll build whatever wins. So they're not necessarily building all three. We have to vote on the one that we want. And they're going to build that one. At least I'm sure they'll end up building all three, but that's what they say in the tweet. And I'm with Russ, especially if it's going to be battery based. I already like e-ink. I like that aesthetic. So I'd be super down with that. Dot matrix is also cool, and you can do a lot of like fun stuff with that.
It would be very cool if Valve has some sort of header on the Steam machine where you can plug in like a special adapter or whatever, and then everyone can spec to that, and then they can just have something that's fully powered from the machine.
Or instead of even having like a separate like header, like my phone charges through MagSafe, and I think that those front plates snap on via magnets. Like, I think that's what it looked like when I watched like the videos. I don't know, but that's what it looked like. But what if one of those magnets allowed you to transfer energy through that? And so you would just snap it on and it would go whoop, boom. Now you've got your little screen. I think I would go for the retro vibes. So I think I would go for the dot matrix, just a little Game Boy looking thing on there. I think that would be cool. But the e-ink looks really cool too. The LCD, I think that would be too distracting. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
Yeah. All right. Moving on from Valve's stuff, we have the Xbox Partner Preview, which happened earlier today. I didn't actually watch the full preview, but I did find Insider Gaming's post that says everything that they announced, right? And I scrolled through and I watched a couple of the videos. They have a video for Armistice and a video for the Mound Ohm of Cthulhu. They also announced Dave the Diver in the Jungle, so it seems like some DLC for that or something. But like just looking at these thumbnails, neither of them struck me as interesting. And then I clicked on Armistice. This game looks really, really cool. It's a third-person shooter where you have like I kind of got, careful, Russ, Destiny vibes from it just for a little bit. When I clicked on it, I was like,
now.
"Oh, that, yeah." And but then like the guy's like using magic powers and stuff too at the same time. It looks really cool, and I like the let me mute it. There we go, so I can see. I really liked like when the character is like using their big jump ups and to like fly up and then come down and hit the ground, and the guns look really cool. The enemies look interesting. I don't know anything about this game. Is it a single player, whatever? Because I watched it muted while I was working on something else. But this, I think, looks really interesting, and I like the idea of this almost like medieval style game, but with guns. That's very interesting to me. Is this up your alley, do you think, Russ?
Yeah, I'm looking at it. It looks like a cross between Destiny and Bloodborne, because you also have like a sickle, and it's third person, so it's not a first person shooter or anything. And yeah, I kind of get vibes for both. It looks pretty good. It really would depend on who's developing it. Do you know?
Yeah.
I only see the trailer.
So Counterplay Games, the developer of Godfall, which was not received very well.
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Where do you see that?
I just Googled. I don't know where I found it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I mean that was one of the things I went to as soon as I saw how cool it looked. Is like, who's developing this? And for me personally, what the vibes I get are like God of War meets Returnal. Maybe I'm just a little Sony coded right now, but I see like the elements of both there. So I could be really interested, but that does scare me a little just knowing how Godfall was received. I never played it myself, so I have no idea, but I know it wasn't received very well.
I will say this, like, as content creators, we've all uploaded a video that hasn't done too well. You know what I mean? And then the next one you upload is like a banger, and you're like, I'm not sure what I did wrong, but it's fine. And so when we say, oh, this company made this game and I really liked that game, so this next game is going to be good, I'm always a little worried about that, or not worried about that, but I'm always a little hesitant to say that. And the same thing in the other direction. This company made this bad game. Like, I'm guilty of that too. Like, I remember there was a couple weeks ago we were talking about People Can Fly. Mm-hmm. And I said I didn't like that one game that they made, which I can't think of the name of right now. I didn't enjoy that game, so I'm not interested in this. And I don't think that that's really fair of me. And so maybe, I have Game Pass because not because I subscribe to it, but because of the review units that we got. So if it comes out early enough in 2026, I'll be able to try it. And then if it's good, then I'll buy it. But I'm not going to be renewing my Game Pass after it ends. In fact, I recently ended my PlayStation 1 too. So now I'm subscriptionless, except for Nintendo, because if I close that, my kids will kill me.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat.
Yeah. All right. What's up, Rich? I'm
looking at the other games, and on here was that game Crowsworn. That game's been shown off before, right? It's the game that looks a lot like Silksong, or looks a lot like Hollow Knight. I don't know. I just really like this trailer, and I'm definitely going to pick this up, even if it does suck. I have no idea, but this is just one of those things that I like the look of it. I'm going to give it a shot.
What's it called? Because I don't see that on this website.
Crowsworn. Is it not on that website?
It's on there.
Oh, did you go to a different website that's better?
No, it's on there. It's on there.
Is it? Okay.
It's after Dave the Diver.
Oh, see, mine goes Dave the Diver, and then it says how to watch the preview afterwards. Maybe I have to I had to refresh. I still had it open from earlier, so like all this other stuff got added that I never saw.
Gotcha.
Okay, very cool. Okay, this is very different now because now there's tons of stuff in here to talk about. So, Crowsworn, what are you seeing from that is getting you excited there, Rich?
So again, very similar to like a Hollow Knight, I would say more so Silksong. I like the aesthetic, where it's a little gothic, and then it is just Metroidvania with like a heavy combat influence. It's got a minecart level apparently. So I'm always here for that stuff. Yeah. I like how intricate the combat looks, and I love me some Metroidvanias.
Did you ever play Rogue Legacy or Rogue Legacy 2?
Yeah. Both.
Okay.
I love the first one. I never really got into the second one. Not to say it wasn't, I think I still would have enjoyed it. Just I didn't happen to get into it.
Yeah, I actually like the second one more than the first one, but they're both really, really good games.
Yeah.
Russ, any games on this new list that actually has more than 2 games on it appealing to you that you want to jump at?
The Crowsworn one does look nice, but it looks very difficult. Like I look at it, there's a lot of skill involved, and so I don't know. Like I'm still scared of Silksong. I haven't really gotten into it. But there's a Vampire Survivors, some sort of like sequel called Vampire Crawlers. So it's like a dungeon crawler, but Vampire Survivors is like a 3D old school style look. It's got cards based, and so it kind of feels like, I don't know, like some mixture of like old school RPG and maybe some Balatro mechanics, and then also Vampire Survivors. So coming in 2026, that one looks interesting.
Yeah, I saw this earlier, and I actually listened. Like I had the sound on because this was on. I think this was on some. It's in the show notes elsewhere. I didn't know it was part of the Xbox showcase. But like at the very end, they get all the way through the trailer, and they're like, "Good job, everybody! We went a whole minute without mentioning that it's a roguelike card deck builder thing. Nice job!" Like they had this whole like spiel at the end that was very, very funny. And I adore Vampire Survivors, and I really like Slay the Spire. Like that's a really fun game. So this is right up my alley. I'm absolutely going to be picking this up. And anything that like Ponkel basically made this genre, and now they're finally dipping into a different genre, and that's exciting. I'm looking forward to that. Rich, are you going to be picking up Vampire Crawlers, a turbo wild card from Vampire Survivors?
Sure. Why not? Yeah, I'll pick it up.
All right. Also, 007 has a trailer for their the First Light, which is from the people that make the there's nothing in this trailer. This trailer is terrible. It's just showing the car. Anyway, this is another game that I'm actually looking forward to because have you guys played the Hitman? Have you guys played the Hitman series?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, you haven't? Okay. So Hitman, I'm not going to recommend it to you, Russ, because you always hate all of the games that I recommend. But it's a really, really good game where you get a job, you have to assassinate somebody, and it's up to you how you do it. You can poison them, you can beat them to death, you can push them off a cliff, you can shoot them. You have all of these options, and basically you go into this world to try and accomplish the mission, and it's really, really fun. And that company is making a 007 game. So it's basically just a Hitman game skinned with 007 stuff. And I'm all for it because I like James Bond stuff. Have you ever played those, Rich?
Yeah, I love the Hitman games. Yeah, a little like they're like MSIM, but you're, contract killer. Weirdly, also in this showcase was a Hitman Absolution DLC or something where it's like Eminem versus Slim Shady. So yeah, apparently you can play
I missed that.
Yeah, no, it's in there. It's in there. I have no idea what this is. It's super weird, but that's cool to see. I'm down for it.
Yeah, I will say that I played one of my favorite Gen 6 games on the GameCube was Freedom Fighters, which I think was the same developer as the Hitman games at the time, and I guess same engine and stuff like that. So I've got some familiarity with like a similar game, but yeah, never played any of the Hitman games for some reason.
Well, the thing that is confusing about the Hitman games is the way that they are packaged, because like you can there's Hitman, there's 3 Hitman games, and then they tried to bring them all into like one package so you can like play them for free, and then you can like play the first level, and then you can buy more levels, or you could, it's very confusing the way that they sell the Hitman games. And I would say it's needlessly confusing. I wish that they would just say, okay, well, here's Hitman 1. You can just buy Hitman 1, and it has all of the levels from Hitman 1. You finished Hitman 1? Great. Here's Hitman 2. Like, it makes sense to do it that way. The way that they do it is very weird and gives me sketchy vibes. Like, I feel like I'm getting ripped off with the way that they try and sell stuff, but I've played them, and they're really fun. Let's move on to, well, still Xbox stuff. They got a Black Friday sale, and over on GG.deals has a bunch of Xbox stuff on sale for Black Friday. And Russ, I know you've been playing your Xbox, what was it? Xbox Series S, right?
S and X. Yeah, I got them both.
S and X? Oh, you got both. I couldn't remember. So, like, you can get games like Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order for $4.
Yeah.
Jedi Survivor for $10. Ori and the Will of the Wisp for $8. Dead Space. I can't see if that's the is that the Dead Space? Is that the remastered version? It's got to be, right?
It must be. Yeah. So
okay, because it doesn't say it though.
Right. If you go on the site, you can, there's filters. And so I did filters at only $5 and under. For me, that's like a good deal. You know what I mean? And so like, yeah, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order's on there, but they've also got like Witcher 3, Halo 5, Metro Exodus. Like some of these games are games that maybe you already own or whatever, but to get them, like own them or at least have them on Xbox, pretty good. And the first Doom, $4, you know, like some good prices here at the really cheap level. That's usually what I like to do. I'm a bargain hunter, so.
Yeah, so here's what's going to happen is these are on sale, and I'll buy these games, and I'll never play them because I'll buy them because they're cheap. You know what I mean? Rich, any of these games jumping out at you as, ooh, that's a good deal? Or you don't have an Xbox anymore, do you?
Yeah, I don't. I last Xbox I had was a 360. So, yeah, not for me.
Okay, that's a long time ago.
Yep.
All right. Well, we do have the Xbox Ally X, and apparently there's so many people that want one that they can't sell enough of them. They're having trouble keeping them in stock. That just tells me that they didn't make very many of them. But that doesn't necessarily mean that that it isn't doing well. Asus seems to be happy with it. How often are you guys picking up your Xbox Ally X's? Or just the Xbox Ally now that you've got the review done? Because I'm going to be honest about mine. I really haven't touched it much. I basically went back to the Lenovo Legion Go S, and I've been using that as my handheld of choice because it's got a bigger screen. Rich?
Yeah, I never even finished my review. So maybe I'll go back and do like a 3-month or something like that. But yeah, to be honest, it never really captured my attention without Bazite on it. Just trying to stick with the Windows full screen experience. I think that they did a good job. Like it was a good first step, but there's just so much missing, at least for me in my experience, that I couldn't stick to Windows full screen. So I think I'll install Bazite on it and kind of go from there. But I also, for the ROG Xbox Ally X, I don't remember if this is true, but I thought I had seen something like they sold 100,000 units. Russ, did you happen to see that? Do you know?
I haven't seen any numbers. No, that's
I don't know where I saw that from. I'm going to look it up. But if it's more than just kind of like, oh yeah, they didn't make very many units. If it's more than just that it is selling well, I think that's cool. I think that's awesome. And most likely that means that there are people that probably don't have some other handheld that are finding kind of what they're looking for in the Xbox Ally. And I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Russ.
I was going to answer the question, but before that, I was going to mention just along the lines that you're saying, Rich, I almost feel like putting the word Xbox on it was like using a silver bullet. Like they were like, you know what? We're probably not going to sell a lot of handhelds. I mean, it's like the third iteration of the same handheld PC. Let's put the word Xbox on it and get all these people who maybe don't know any better and don't know that there were other ones and they see an Xbox handheld. You know what I mean? And so they kind of used a silver bullet to boost those sales too. Again, all speculation, but that's kind of my guess. So I have 2 units. I've got they like rushed me one. They tried to get it to me before Japan. It didn't come. And then they also sent me my regular review unit. So I still have 2. I haven't sent any back yet because I've got a couple more tests I want to do. I've got one on Windows, one on Bazite. And initially, yeah, just for my own like use and stuff, I was using Bazite the most just because it's so simple. You turn it on, you can play it, you know. But then I started going back to the Windows side because I wanted to watch how the big screen experience evolves. And so I'm like going on there, you know, once every few days, seeing what update comes and if it's any better and stuff. So I'm kind of feeling through that. And then also Asus just sent me their 5090 XG Mobile external GPU, Thunderbolt 5 thing. It's ridiculous, like $2,000 or whatever. So I need to make a video on that. And so I've been using the Ally X with that, basically. It's just plugging that in. And now I've been using it all the time. Like that's now my main gaming PC for the past week or so, just to kind of test it and stuff. But it's great, you know, like it's that experience that I've always wanted where it's like handheld and then full on computer when I want it, you know. It's doing all that, but that price point, that's what we're talking $3,000 for all of that together. It's crazy.
Wow. I did find what I was looking for. It was more so an illusion, like someone alluding to that the scale of what was sold was probably in the hundreds of thousands. So this is from Daniel Ahmad or ZHugeX on Twitter, where he was you know quoting what Asus had said, and someone asked what are the unit sales breakdown, and he's talking about we're talking in the hundreds of thousands here, so still fairly niche overall, but not too bad. So I think he was more speaking to the scale of what they've sold through, but even so, hundreds of thousands I think is impressive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I found over on, I guess it's an article. It's like somebody summarizing a GameIndustry.biz article, and it says on the bottom of here, it says, with the product performing beyond expectations, Asus projects the Ally series to bring in revenue ranging from 96 million to 160 million. So if you divide 160 million by 1,000, you get 160,000.
That's right. Yep.
And so I can see why they're saying that, but it's in the phrase here, it says to bring in revenue ranging from. So this is projections, it seems like, not actual sales at this point. But, you know, as we said, we don't know. I have a question for Russ, though. You were talking about that, the XG Mobile thing. Yeah. I know that you've had issues in the past with, like, you even have a video about these external GPUs that says this should just work. It's a great video. You guys should definitely check it out. Does this solve the problems that you were running into on that?
Yeah, so in all fairness, I've only done it on the Xbox LAX. Like I haven't taken some random computer and plugged it in yet.
Right.
But all of it is contained in the Windows like updates. So I plugged it in and it was like, hey, you need to update Armory Crate, you got to update your BIOS and all that stuff. And so it just worked. Like everything worked. I just, you know, maybe 10 minutes of letting the updates download and restart the machine basically. And that was it. And so I didn't have to go to NVIDIA's website to download the GPU drivers for that NVIDIA GPU. I just let them take care of it and everything worked. I've had several updates since then, you know, and so it's working for me within their own ecosystem. But I've also got a couple rando like mini PCs, you know, and I'm just going to plug them in and see what happens there, you know. Yeah, it's always been kind of a mismatch, especially when using AMD computers and some of the weird, crazy, just random driver versions that they have. You know, sometimes it's OEM, sometimes it's actually from the manufacturer. Or from AMD, I should say. And then also like working with an AMD GPU. Like sometimes they just don't talk to each other. But usually when you cross streams, do Intel to NVIDIA or whatever, AMD to NVIDIA, that usually works fine. And so this is working great for me so far. But again, it's just staying within the Asus ecosystem.
Very cool. Rich?
Sorry.
Oh, you have your hand up, so I thought.
Oh, my bad. I didn't bring it down. I'm like, wait, I don't have an XG mobile.
Oh, okay.
Sorry about that.
Do you want one, Rich?
I'll take one. Yeah, sure.
Okay. I was just curious. Like, is this something you're hoping for? With Xbox, with Steam, with Valve. Bill, can you talk today? Could you, please? With Valve getting into the console space by shipping a PC and beating Microsoft to the punch, because that's exactly what Microsoft has been saying that they were about to do. Well, Microsoft also just dropped the NDA. I guess as somebody who'd never made a game before, I didn't realize that the Xbox Game Publishing Guide used to be under NDA. But now it's NDA free and anybody can see it. So that means I think that they're trying to make it better for indie developers. Like, for years, when I was playing most of my games on Nintendo Switch, I always looked at Nintendo Switch as, this is the indie platform. Like, this is where I'm playing. And then when I got a Steam Deck, because I wasn't really playing games on my PC because I didn't want to sit at my desk. So when I was playing on Switch, I was, I just ignored my PC when it came to that kind of thing. And I only used the PC for content creation stuff. When I got the Steam Deck and I started picking up games on there, I was like, oh man, all these games that I have on my Nintendo Switch, they're also on Steam. And all of these indie games, every time Nintendo has like an indie showcase, part of me starts to put a script together where I'm like, you could just get all these games on Steam right now. You don't have to wait for them to come out on Switch. And then I get lazy about it and I don't post it. But with Valve being the place for indies, and it absolutely is the place for indies, Microsoft is trying to push towards that, it seems like. And I think that that's awesome. That is exciting to me because I want the indies to get more stuff, especially since those are the games I tend to prefer. The AAA games I don't get super excited about. You know what I mean? Rich, do you think that Microsoft has a chance at pulling indies away from Valve, or are the indies just going to publish in both places?
Yeah, they'll definitely publish in both places. I don't think that Microsoft has, I think they're up against the gun, right? I consider them the underdogs when it comes to like attracting consumers, even with the indie games, because Steam just has so much momentum. I love that you said that Steam is the place for indies, and it certainly is. And I would take that further and say that a lot of Steam's success is due to that, right? Like, is due to how open it is and how many, the way I thought about it back in that day, like 2010s, right? Early 2010s was like, there are so many PC exclusives because there are so many like indie games I want to play on Steam that are just not available anywhere else. And if you extend that to like itch.io, it's even bigger, right? And so, yeah, I think Xbox is certainly going for that. And when I think about like parallels, right, I found the article I was looking for, which was in 2008. May 2008 is when Valve made Steamworks SDK free. And I think that
Project Greenlight?
I don't know if Project Greenlight was at the same time. I want to say it was either, but yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure when that was, so we'll have to look that up too. But this announcement, it says, has announced that the Steamworks software development kit, so SDK, is now free. The SDK offers complete publishing and development tools to independent game developers and grants them access to Steam features such as product key authentication, copy protection, auto updating, social networking, matchmaking, anti-cheat technology, and more. So if I remember correctly, this is when also a lot of this Steamworks documentation became available to anyone to see, because if the point is you're going to open up, development to virtually anyone, then it's hard to kind of gate that to only people that may seriously consider publishing something. So really everyone's going to see the documentation. And so from there, it became very transparent what Steam was doing whenever it made any sort of policy changes.
And you said that was 2008, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so Steam Greenlight was a platform where you could submit your games for community approval to get them in the Steam store. So basically, like, it let the audience. Oh, here it is. Greenlight is no longer accepting submissions as of 2017, and I think it started in 2012.
Yep, that's what I found as well. 2012.
Yeah.
So the Steamworks SDK being available was even before that, and then Greenlight was sort of the beginning of the floodgates, and then when kind of they opened it up beyond Greenlight, it couldn't get more games. Now it's 50,000 per year or something.
It's an insane amount. Russ, what's your favorite indie game that you've played this year?
Oh gosh, I'm still playing a lot of Ball Pit. You know, I really did like Swords and Daggers, Slots and Daggers a lot, but that fell off as soon as I finished it because it's like when you beat the game, you 100% complete it, like all the achievements and everything. And so that one doesn't have a lot of replayability, but still going for Ball Pit. So yeah, that's off the top of my head, but I don't know. People are saying that Expedition 33 is an indie game, so I don't know about that, but.
Well, what? Okay, I think Rich and I have an entire episode where it was just us, and we were like trying to decide if Baldur's Gate 3 was an indie game or not. Do you remember that episode, Rich?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I don't know. I've had
this conversation several times. I have strong opinions.
I think we landed on, I don't know what indie is, but I know what it is when I see it, basically. But, Rich, do you think Clair Obscur Expedition 33 is indie?
Yes. I am a person, maybe like emulation, like the word emulation. I'm a person that, I think the category is as broad as it can possibly, we should make it as broad as we can possibly make it. There are obvious exclusions, right? Like GTA 6 is clearly not an indie, but the way I think about it is independence of vision, right? The freedom to make what you want to make. And that, if I recall correctly, that was a point where maybe Baldur's Gate 3 might not be indie, but not for the reason you think. Not because it's this high production value game, but because there are considerations to think about when it comes to the Dungeons and Dragons IP, right? So maybe that is a reason to think of it as not having the freedom to make the game you want to make. But even then, I still think Baldur's Gate 3 is indie. I think Clair Obscur is indie, and I even think Dave the Diver is indie. So that's one of those games that looks indie, but is published by a mega corporation. But I'm going to give it the indie label personally.
So I think I've already mentioned it before, but my 2 cents is that it's the feel of the game and the overall, I think of it like indie rock music, right? Which is a sound, not necessarily who produced that record, And so for me, it's Clair Obscur is a AA game, is what I would think of it as. It's trying to be a AAA title, but it's just smaller, more focused, which I liked, but I don't see it as being an indie game, which I would call Dave the Diver an indie game too. So yeah, I think we just probably have different thoughts about that because I'm not even thinking about what happens behind the scenes in the making of it. It's about the feel and the look and the length. All that stuff's really important to me.
2 follow-up questions. I'll start with just one. In terms of aesthetics then, sorry, let me think through this. Shoot, I lost it. Dang it. I'm sorry.
I had such a convincing argument. You didn't have anything to say after.
No, you've sold me apparently.
All right. So now, has he changed your mind, Rich?
No, I still disagree.
Okay.
I just lost my argument.
So, Russ, are you saying that for a game to be considered indie to you, and it's fine if it doesn't agree with Rich's vision or my vision, but do you feel it needs to be pixel art?
No, not at all. Yeah, I mean, Hades is an indie game, to me. It's all about the size and the depth of it, and the overall feel of it. And it doesn't really have to do with the graphics or anything, but just rather certain genres I think are more inclined for me to be considered kind of an indie style game. If it's not AAA prices, then I usually will not think of it as a AAA game.
I remember my question. And it's not an argument. It really is a question. When you consider it a AA game, in this context that we're talking about is the Game Awards, right? So would it AA game always seemed like an informal thing. It doesn't seem like something that we've ever actually codified, right? it's just a way to refer to something. So like, would that become a new category for you? Or are you now thinking about like AA games of the year?
No. I just think it would go under game of the year or whatever genre it's in. You know what I mean? I don't think Clair Obscur needs to be in the independent category. It can be in the RPG category. It can be in the game of the year category, game direction. Like all those things are important, but it doesn't need to be an independent game to me, you know? And again, it's very like genre like based. Like I have a hard time thinking of a first person shooter as an indie game unless it's something really lightweight like Sulaco or something. Like that's to me an indie game, right? Like as a small team, you know, that all makes sense to me. But if they're shooting for something that reminds me of a AAA title, then that's kind of where I think it's a AA title.
So, okay, there's that's got to be like one dev by themselves. There's II, which is like a small team of, 5 people or something. Then there's III, which is like, that's Shovel Knight, that's Silk Song. Those are like the big ones. Then you have the A, I guess, right? I don't know what that would be.
I don't know what an A would be.
I have no idea. Like an A
I think
is...
an A and an indie game are the same to me, kind of.
Yeah, I don't know. It's so like that's so hard to qualify that as indie versus. It's like the gulf between indie and AAA is so huge,
right?
That there should be like steps between it.
Another example would be Hi-Fi Rush. That to me, that's a AA game. That is not an indie game because there's too much to it. It's too big.
I agree with that.
You know, like it's a bigger game. I don't even care what studio made it or who owned them or that stuff either, who they made it for. It's just the scope, and to me, that's a AA game, much like Clair Obscur.
Is there an existence of an A?
No. I mean, that would be like Dave the Diver, I think, but I would classify as an indie game.
Right.
So I don't think, so Hi-Fi Rush, I probably think of as AAA or not even AAA, but just not indie because it's Microsoft, right? But Hellblade, I think of as indie, the original Hellblade. And when I think about, so I just don't know what like AA actually is in my head, right? Like how I would picture that. Because when I think of Hellblade, I think of it's nowhere near the production values of say like God of War, right? Like God of War 2016, 2018?
Right.
18, yeah.
Nowhere near that like budget. But they did so much with so little budget relative to a AAA game. And I wouldn't want to remove the indie label just because of what they happen to accomplish on such a small budget. It's still a small budget, it's still a small team. It's still, a creative, independently created effort. And I wouldn't want to remove the indie label because they happen to accomplish so much production wise.
Yeah, that definitely makes a lot of sense. All right, you know what? Since we're talking about the categories of the Game Awards, let's shift over and actually look at those real quick. And I thought we would do this, where we would look at each category and we would say, what would our pick be if you have a pick? And I'm going to go to all categories, and we'll start with, we'll save Game of the Year for last. And we're not going to vote in every category because there's some categories that I don't care about, and I'm sure that there's ones that you don't care about as well. Rich, do you have it open in front of you?
I do. I'm going to go
pick a category.
I'm going to go straight to best independent game. It's a good category. It's a really, really good list of games. Whether or not you consider them independent. So the first is Absalom, the game from the Streets of Rage devs. That is like a beat 'em up, a roguelike. I want to say a roguelike. And just really good game feel and stuff like that. So I really enjoyed my time with the demo. I haven't played the full game yet. The second game is Ball Pit. We've talked a lot about Ball Pit on here, so I'm going to skip the description of that. Third game is Blueprints. We haven't talked about Blueprints in some months, but that was the like roguelike puzzle game that kind of felt like Clue, just in terms of a format, but like the goal was to make it to the end of the mansion. That was a lot of fun. Next one is Clair Obscur.
Did you make it to the end of the mansion?
No. I'm still stuck. I think I'm about 10 hours in.
Yeah.
Next one is Clair Obscur Expedition 33. Then Hades 2, another excellent game. And finally, Hollow Knight Silksong, which I've talked about a bunch on here, is probably my most played game of the year, just in terms of hours. So my vote would have to go to Silksong personally.
Okay. I looking at this list, this is like the list for me. The only game that I haven't played on this is Absalom. And that's a game that I want to play. Like, it's on my wish list because of, is it .emu or Dotemu? I've always said Dotemu.
I say .mu.
Okay, well, that doesn't clear up anything. So it's because they made it, and I freaking loved Streets of Rage 4. So that's definitely on my list of games that I want to check out. But looking at this list of all the ones that I played, I think the one that I probably enjoyed the most, and I played all the other ones, is Ball Pit. I absolutely had a blast with Ball Pit. I'm still having a blast with Ball Pit. I didn't beat it yet. I still have quite a bit to go, but I am really enjoying it. And the more I play it, the more I'm enjoying not the action part. I mean, yes, I'm also enjoying the action part, but the other part afterwards where you're like building your town and rearranging all of the pieces so that you can get the most resources. Like, I am enjoying that game. So my vote is for Ball Pit. What about you, Russ?
So this kind of goes back to the whole, like, I don't think Clair Obscur should be on here because that is like the best experience I've had is Clair Obscur. Like, it's so nice, you know, but I don't know, like I don't really see it as an indie game. And I think the other ones all very much so do feel like that. And so it's kind of a hard choice for me in that, yes, among the 6 games that we have here to choose from, if I had to say what was my best gaming experience so far this year, it's Clair Obscur. But also I haven't played Blueprints, and that's just because I feel like there's a kind of high barrier for me, like, to get into it, and I haven't jumped in. Absalom, I've only played the first hour or two. Hollow Knight, Silksong, a little bit of it too. Hades, I think, was going to be like my game of the year next year, but I just need more time with it. I've only spent like maybe 5 hours with it. And so, yeah, I would say if Clair Obscur wasn't on the list, it would probably be Ball Pit, just because I'm really enjoying that. But because it is on the list, I'm going to go with that. And there's a really interesting point that I think his name's Paul Tassi at Forbes came up with. Mm-hmm. Like, he tweeted about it. And he was like, you know what? Like, this is the thing with the Game Awards, is that they put in their Game of the Year contenders in the other categories, and then it kind of demolishes the other ones too, because how can a game, like, how can any other game other than Clair Obscur, Hades 2, and Silksong be independent Game of the Year if it's also nominated for the Game of the Year? It's saying that basically the Absalom, Ball Pit, and Blueprints don't have a chance, because otherwise those would also be Game of the Year contenders. And so it's kind of an interesting argument he makes. I can see both sides, you know, like one could be very firmly in its own category, right? But he like had a whole graph and showed like all the other categories and then marked out the ones that weren't Game of the Year contenders if they were in a category that had a Game of the Year contender. And he's like, look, 8 of these categories have already been decided. It was kind of interesting.
So do you think the argument there is to just remove games from Best Indie if they're nominated from like Best Game or something like that?
I don't know what the solution is. I kind of feel like Game of the Year shouldn't be publicized until that night. And they're just like, these are the categories, these are the nominations, this is the winner. You know what I mean? Like, you just don't even know who's up for it. That way, every single vote is completely independent of any of that kind of skew of, well, which one's the absolute best? You know, that's kind of the way that I think that maybe the solution could be. But now there's no way they can like go back and be like, hey, we're changing it this year. But that's kind of my thought.
Well, we can, because we're going to do our own NerdNest Game Awards at some time. I'm not sure if I want to do it before the end of the year, because that always kind of bothers me, because there's games that come out between November and December and they never get considered, basically. And so maybe we'll wait until January to do that, or maybe we'll do it in December. But we're going to make up our own damn rules and we'll figure it out. And you guys who are watching will be involved in this. All right. Russ, pick a category, my friend.
Hold on. You picked your game? You said Ball Pit for yours?
I said Ball Pit, yes.
Okay. I'm going to go with Best Narrative. And this one's interesting because I actually have only played one of them here, but I just kind of want to get your guys' take on it too. So, you know, Best Narrative is supposed to be about, you know, storytelling, narrative development in a game. So Clair Obscur is on there. then Death Stranding 2, then Ghost of Yotei. I don't feel like I need to introduce any of these games. Everyone knows what they are. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, and then Silent Hill F. And to be honest, I don't know what Silent Hill F even is. Like, I just don't follow the franchise. But so yeah, I'm very curious to hear what you guys think about that. I feel like without playing some of the other ones, like what I'm looking forward to the most story-wise is probably Death Stranding 2, just because I like the way that Kojima goes, you know, in his games and stuff. And maybe the least interesting for me is Ghost of Yotei. And I had the same feeling with Ghost of Tsushima too, is that the gameplay is great. And I love how like kind of you evolve and stuff. But the storytelling aspect to me, I have a really hard time with any historical reenactment, anything, a book, movie, or whatever. I'm always questioning whether or not that actually happened. And then like you know what I mean? Like I can't watch a movie like some biopic. I can't watch those movies. Like they're just so hard to watch because I'm like, I don't know what's Hollywood and what's not, you know? And I feel like Ghost of Yotei is obviously based on historical circumstances and then they build a story inside of it. But that one to me is not as compelling as something that's just a whole new story just coming out of the mind of somebody like Death Stranding 2, you know? And so obviously my vote for this would be Clair Obscur just because that's the one I actually have experienced and it was amazing. But yeah, I kind of am looking forward to the most is Death Stranding 2.
So I looking at this list, the only one that I've played is Clair Obscur Expedition 33, and I really, really liked that a lot. I have no love for Kojima's nonsense. His stuff just does not appeal to me. And every time he gets up on everybody's going to get mad and send me comments. I know, but every time he gets up at the Game Awards, I'm like, dude, will you just stop? Just announce your game or don't announce your game. Stop standing up there and saying nothing for 10 minutes. So I'm definitely not interested in Death Stranding. Ghost of Yotei, I'm very interested in, but I have no idea if the story's good or not. I haven't played it. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, I've heard nothing but good things about. Everybody says how great that game is, but they also say that game's like a bitch, like it's really tough. And I don't think that I want to deal with the frustration, so I haven't played that. And Silent Hill F is probably gory horror, so no thank you. I'm going to click vote just so that I have it gone off my list, but I wouldn't really vote in this category because I don't know enough about the rest. But if gun to my head, if I had to pick one, Clair Obscur, because what I did play of that was really cool, and I really liked the direction that they went with that.
Same
Rich,
boat.
what are you voting for?
Yeah, same boat as you guys. I've played some Clair Obscur, and more so than virtually any game I play, like what makes me interested when I do play that game is narrative, right? Like the gameplay is excellent, but like there's something about the narrative in Clair Obscur that really pulls me in, like other games don't really do very often for me. So I would just by default have to vote for that. Although like, yeah, there's a lot of interesting things to say about the other games. In terms of my anticipation for them, I am a sucker for Kojima stuff. So I'll certainly be interested in Death Stranding 2 narrative. Kingdom Come Deliverance, I think, is one of those games that people were afraid of, kind of falling off the radar for the Game Awards. So it's good to see it not fall off the radar because it came out so early in the year. So glad to see it here. And in Silent Hill F, I don't necessarily think of as the narrative, but I will say when I look at videos of Silent Hill F, I'm very like drawn into that world that they're building. I don't know what it is, but I just like what they're building there. So that's something I do want to play.
Okay. I'm going to pick a category now, and I'm going to go with Best RPG. I'm not going to recap the ones that we've already talked about. But we've got three new ones in here. We've got The Outer Worlds 2, Monster Hunter Wilds, and Avowed. You guys will know, anybody who's watched the show for long enough will know that I was over the moon for Monster Hunter Wilds when it was hotly anticipated. And when it came out, I had a lot of fun with it. But unlike Monster Hunter Rise, I did not feel myself going back to playing it as much as like Monster Hunter Rise. I had easily like 200 hours in between my two playthroughs. Absolutely love that game. Monster Hunter Wilds, I think I might have 50 hours in, and that's maybe 50 hours. Avowed, I have a lot of hours in, and I absolutely love that game. So of all of these, the one that I probably sunk the most time into and really, really enjoyed was one that I thought it was going to be crap just because I was looking at the videos and I didn't like the way that combat looked. But then once you have the controller in your hand, Avowed feels so damn good. And I'm probably about 3/4 through the game right now. And I love every minute of that world. I love the art direction. I love the style of everything. The combat feels amazing. The voice acting is great. Huge fan of Avowed. My vote is for Avowed. Russ?
So we should mention, Clair Obscur and Kingdom Come Deliverance are also on the list. Like you mentioned the other.
Oh, yeah, I didn't mention those because, sorry, yeah. Thank you.
No worries. So I played through Avowed. I played through Clair Obscur. I didn't play the others, Kingdom Come, Monster Hunter, and Outer Worlds 2. But Avowed for me was an excellent game, but it was kind of surface level for me. It wasn't super deep. I enjoyed it. It was a game where I started playing it and I would just like look up and the clock had gone 4 hours. Like that's a good feeling. But Clair Obscur was the one where I was like, I want to finish this video so I can get home and I can play that game. You know what I mean? Like it hit me in a unique place. Most of it's narratively, like that's why I play a role-playing game is for the story. I think of a role-playing game as playing a book, and this hit me in all the right spots. And so I definitely Clair Obscur is an easy win for me, even though I didn't play through Avowed. And it does, I always have like a running list of RPGs that I need to get to. And I think among the 3 that are left, it's only Kingdom Come that I'm actually interested in because I am kind of interested in that one.
I heard that's a really hard game though, just so you know.
Yeah, I know.
Maybe there are mods
Cheats
and stuff like that, right? Yeah. I don't have an informed enough opinion on any of these, and I want to set my personal opinion to the side because I'm just very interested in this category from a just viewer, right? Like an outsider looking in, because this to me very much kind of exemplifies what we're going to see throughout the rest of the awards, which I think it's really a battle between Expedition 33 and Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. If I'm just going based on the like consumer opinion I've seen online, whether it's Resetera, Reddit, whatever, like it feels like it's going to come down to Expedition 33 versus Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. And I think this particular award kind of exemplifies that more than anyone else. I lean towards Expedition 33 because that's what I enjoyed playing. But I'm just really curious to see how this lands with the general public.
Really interesting that there's no JRPG on the list. I mean, Clair Obscur is JRPG inspired, but there's no like Japanese role-playing game on here, which is unique because last year did Metaphor win, I think?
Yeah, I think so.
Yep.
Yeah, kind of interesting.
What JRPGs came out this year? I'm sure that there's plenty, so don't yell at us in the comments if we can't think of them. But in this moment, I can't think of one.
Pokemon
I can only
Legends
think
CA?
of yeah. Only thing I can think of is like the Dragon Quest 1 and 2 HD.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I can't really think of many myself.
All right. Rich, you want to pick a category?
Yeah, let's go to best action game. I love action games in general, and I like the selection here, and it's very diverse. It's like a weird kind of grouping of games in a way, because the first is Battlefield 6, which is a first-person shooter, but like focused on online, which is a stark difference from the next one, Doom: The Dark Ages, which is also a first-person shooter, but focused on single player. And then we go to Hades 2, and then Ninja Gaiden 4, and then Shinobi: Art of Vengeance. So this is just another one where I just like to see this level of diversity in the genre. I haven't played Battlefield 6, which heard great things about, so I'm looking forward to playing it. And I haven't played Ninja Gaiden 4, which I really want to play because I love Platinum Games, or I've loved them in the past. And same for Team Ninja. It's received like slightly mixed reviews, like leaning towards the positive side, but slightly mixed reviews. But I will say I've had a phenomenal time with Shinobi, who's made by, it's published by Sega, but the developer is Lizard Cube. Which game did they make? It was the other Sega game, I think, like an RPG. But
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Wonder Boy, right? Yeah, Wonder Boy.
Yeah,
which was a really, really
and
good.
Streets of Rage 4. What?
Were they also Streets of Rage 4?
I thought that was Dotemu.
That may have been the publisher, maybe, and Lizard Cube was the developer. That sounds correct.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, it says they made the Shinobi game, Streets of Rage 4, and Wonder Boy.
Yeah. Yeah, and so Shinobi Art of Vengeance is just so much fun. It's not quite Metroidvania. It's like light Metroidvania, but just the combat is so good, and there's so much like freedom of expression in that game that gets my vote personally.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the demo for the Shinobi game, and I'm a huge fan of like Shinobi 3. Like, I love the Shinobi games from when I was young, and I love that Sega is bringing back all of those, well, not all of them, but they're bringing back a bunch of their old stuff, like obviously Shinobi, but also like Crazy Taxi. They're making a new Crazy Taxi game. They're working on a new Golden Axe game, and like that stuff I'm definitely here for. And I really did enjoy my time with the demo. But for me, I'm really torn between Hades 2 and Doom the Dark Ages. I'm going to have to go with Doom the Dark Ages because that's the one I could not put down. And Hades 2, I was able to put down pretty easily. I didn't think it was bad. Like, I didn't dislike it, but I didn't think about it when I wasn't playing. And Doom the Dark Ages, like, I could not wait to get back to it because there's something about that combat that just feels so damn good as you throw your shield through a bunch of dudes, which then gives you a bunch of health, and then you get up in the demon's face to try and take them out. It's just really, really fun. So I haven't played Battlefield 6 or Ninja Gaiden 4, but Doom the Dark Ages gets my vote. What about you, Russ?
So I found it interesting. I kept going back and forth between the action genre and then the action and adventure nominations, you know, because they're right next to each other. I'm like, well, what's the difference? And kind of looking through them, I think that action adventure is more story based. Like it is still an action game, but you're really going through a story, where some of these action games don't really feel like that. I would argue that maybe Hades 2 could potentially be in the other list. So among them, the only ones I've played are Doom the Dark Ages and Hades 2. And I'm kind of with you, Bill. I'm a huge Hades 1 fan, but Hades 2 feels like Hades 1.8 to me, as opposed to Hades 2. Like, it doesn't feel like a sequel in that it's like fundamentally changing or improving things. It's just got more, you know, and it's to the point where there's so much more to it that I haven't really got my like claws dug into it yet, which is really interesting for me. So I think among the choices, I think that Doom the Dark Ages, even though that one's not a huge iteration over the others, other than, you know, it's got some new mechanics to it. It's a bit slower. It's got the mechs and stuff. It's a Doom game, you know, and honestly, it's probably my favorite first-person shooter game that I've been playing this year too. And so, yeah, I think I would choose that, which is just kind of blasphemy, you know, how much I love the first Hades. But yeah, I'm going to go with Doom.
Yeah, that's a big surprise for me to hear you say that.
Yeah. I fully expected him to say Hades too. Same. All right. So, Rich, you picked action. Russ, what's next?
Let's do action adventure. I think that is just a nice segue to the next one. And so this is what I'm reading it as is just being more narrative, you know, combat with like traversal and puzzle solving. Like, there's just more to it. And so on the list are Death Stranding 2, Ghost of Yotei, Silk Song, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, and then Split Fiction. So my choice among these, again, like, I haven't played Ghost of Yotei yet. I'm looking forward to it. Death Stranding 2, I haven't played it yet. I haven't finished the first one. My choice would be Indiana Jones, because that does feel like an action adventure. It feels like, you know, it feels like a modern day version of Uncharted, which is funny because Uncharted is like a wannabe Indiana Jones, but that's kind of how it feels to me, you know, like it is an adventure. And yeah, really enjoyed that. I'm still like finishing Egypt right now, so I'm not even done, you know, but still, yeah, that's probably my choice. Pretty easy.
What about you, Rich?
Yeah, so I don't have a reason to say Silk Song is not action adventure, but it feels like a weird fit here, right? I don't love it here, and I can't really articulate why. But for me, and I haven't played a lot of these games, so that also informs a lot of this. But for me, Split Fiction just was so good. I've been playing it with my 8-year-old daughter, who may be just a tad too young for some parts of the game. But man, it embodies action adventure, probably similar to Indiana Jones, right? Where it's just like, you don't know what's going to happen next, and it takes you for a wild ride. And it's just every moment is, to me, memorable.
Yeah. When you say she's a little young for it, do you mean for the content or for like the difficulty of it?
The content. The difficulty is approachable.
Okay.
Like, there are difficult moments and she'll get frustrated, but nothing that we haven't, together. It just takes a little longer, right? Together,
Yeah.
we'll do it.
So for me, I played Indiana Jones and I played Hollow Knight, and I haven't played the other games. Indiana Jones I beat. Hollow Knight I didn't come close to beating. I probably only have about 3 hours in it or something like that. And it's fun, but it didn't really grab me mostly because I keep getting killed and then I have to do the things that I just did all over again. And so I get frustrated by that. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, I adore this game. It is so damn good. And I feel like I should beat myself up because I have yet to play the DLC for it. And I absolutely loved this game. It's just been too long since I played it. So now I'm like, why do I want to jump right back in like that? It's just kind of weird. But anyway, my vote is easily for Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. This is one of my favorite games that I've played in a very long time. So that one's my vote. Okay, whose turn is it to pick a category?
Your turn.
It's mine, and I just closed it because I'm an idiot. Okay.
One thing to mention, though, is it's
Yeah.
very interesting that Donkey Kong Bonanza is not on the Action Adventure or even
that's crazy.
You know what I mean? Like,
that's weird.
Game of the Year contender, but it's not in the category where I would have put it. So,
Well, where else did they put? I'm going to guess Best Family, right? Is that where they put it? I'm clicking on it now. Yep, that's where it is. Okay, I have a problem with Best. Let's go Best Family next. I have a problem with Best Family as a category because to me, a family game is a game that you are playing with other people, like Smash Brothers or Mario Party or, something like that.
I think all of these except okay. I thought you were going to say, okay. No, Donkey Kong
is a
does not
single
fit.
player game, isn't it?
It is. You're right. Yep.
Right. Like, how is that is it a family game because it's okay for all ages? Like, this is what they say. For the best game appropriate for family play, irrespective of genre or platform.
If I recall correctly, there is a multiplayer mode, but it's like Mario Odyssey. I don't know if you remember Mario Odyssey multiplayer, where like one player can control the hat. I don't remember how it works in Bonanza because I haven't done it. But there might be a light multiplayer mode in Bonanza.
There is. I think that you can be the girl and you can hit a button to whistle or sing a song, and then it tells Donkey Kong where to go.
Yeah, no thanks.
Yeah, I just think that it's weird to have that in there. I didn't play Lego Party. I didn't play Lego Voyagers. I didn't play Sonic Racing Cross Worlds either, and I didn't play Split Fiction.
You guys.
So the only games that I played were Donkey Kong Bonanza, and Mario Kart World. What was that, Rich?
I said you guys can all vote for Split Fiction in this category. It's okay, even if you haven't.
I can.
Yeah, you can. You're allowed.
I'm really struggling with this because I don't feel like Donkey Kong Bonanza should be in this category. And the only other game that I've played is Mario Kart World. And while I really did like it, I'm not playing it right now. Like, I played Mario Kart 8 for months and months and months, like for a long time. And when Mario Kart World came out, I said it was better than Mario Kart 8, yet I'm not playing it for some reason. Whatever that reason is, I haven't been playing it. I played it a bunch the first couple of weeks, and then I fell off. I feel like I'm going to vote for Split Fiction just for Rich.
The objectively right answer. Correct.
What about you, man? I think we know what you're going to pick.
Yeah, I'm going Split Fiction all the way. Mario Kart World was cool. Sonic Racing Cross Worlds, I played the demo. I'm really enjoying the demo. I'll pick it up when it goes on sale. Try the demo. There's a demo. Hopefully it's still out there. I liked it. I really liked it. And so I'll pick it up when it goes on sale, but I'm not paying full price for that. Lego Voyagers looks really good. Lego Party, I haven't heard anything about. But like I said, Split Fiction, I just had, and I'm still playing it, but there literally, my daughter, I'm not going to spoil it. My daughter will bring up moments to me. She's like, remember when blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, that was great. That was a wonderful time.
Mm-hmm. Russ, does Donkey Kong Bonanza belong in the best family game?
I kind of think it does. If it's a game that someone else can watch, like I feel like that can kind of go in there too, but honestly, Donkey Kong Bonanza is not a good game to watch someone else play because the camera's going everywhere and he's like, just bang, like it's not that fun of a game to watch. I feel the same way with Mario Odyssey too. I think it's just the 3D camera just moves so quickly in both of those games. It pans so quickly. I'm not sure. I'm really split on this too because I've only played Mario Kart World and Donkey Kong Bonanza, and neither of them. Mario Kart World doesn't feel like an award. Yeah. Mario Kart World doesn't feel like a award-winning game to me. Donkey Kong Bonanza does, but I just didn't spend enough time with it. It was one of those games where I'm like, I can't wait to play this again someday. Like, that's kind of how I was with it. And I recognize that Split Fiction is decidedly probably one of the best fits here. I think Lego Voyagers too, because it's specifically for co-op, Mm-hmm. So I'm going to choose here, sight unseen. Yeah, Split Fiction. I've heard so much good things about it, and I feel like it's probably going to win too, and I think this is a good category for it.
It's unanimous. I don't know if that's ever happened before on the show.
We did it.
We did it. Good job, us.
Yep.
All right, so I picked best family. I don't know whose turn it is. I've lost track. One of you guys pick.
I think it's mine. Oh, sorry.
Oh,
I think
we only have 5 minutes left, so we should probably.
Yeah, I was going to say we're hitting pumpkin time. So
that's right. Should we go to Goaty?
I guess we have to.
All right, let's go to Goaty. So in the Game of the Year categories, Clair Obscur Expedition 33, Death Stranding 2, Donkey Kong Bonanza, Hades 2, Hollow Knight Silksong, Kingdom Come Deliverance. I'm not going to give my vote. And real quick before I throw it to you guys, I will say I want to say it was Reset or I could have been Reddit. I saw a thread that was like, I think it's time to make Game of the Year be like 10 nominations.
Oh, yeah.
And I think it is. I could easily see a number of other games fit on here, and having only these 6 feels light. So those are my quick two cents. But Russ, what do you think of these 6 games? Which one?
I really agree with your 10. I feel like Indiana Jones should be on this list.
Thank you.
I also feel like the first thing I thought when I saw this was like, oh, it's because Hideo Kojima is friends with Jeff Keighley. But that's why he's on there. You know what I mean? He's so synchronized with the Game Awards that, of course, his game's going to be on this list. But my choice, I don't want to belabor it. My choice would be Clair Obscur among the list that we have here. It was a game that really hit me in the feels and just left me thinking for a while. And not many games did that this year. So yeah, easy pick.
Oh, I did not play any of these games for long enough. That's the thing. When I look at these, like I played Clair Obscur, I played Donkey Kong Bonanza, I played Hades 2, I played Silksong, and I enjoyed them, but none of them really just got their hooks into me. And so of these, if I don't pick Hollow Knight Silksong, my son is going to run up here and knock me over, and he's bigger than me, so I have to pick Hollow Knight Silksong. I did enjoy it a lot, and that's the one I think that I'm more likely to go back to over all of the other ones. I just really wish Indiana Jones was on this list.
Yeah, Indiana Jones should be on here, I think, even not having really played it, but just seeing how other people feel about it. And I think Death Stranding 2 is a good candidate potentially to get out of here if we were to limit to 6, but also maybe DK Bonanza and also maybe Hades 2, right? Like those are 2 other candidates which feel like, yes, they were received extremely well, but maybe not to the level of Indy, the other games on here, and the other travesty, the other big snub, where's Split Fiction? Split Fiction should absolutely be on here. There's no question in my mind. So Split Fiction should be on here. But of these, I'm going to go with Silksong. Had a lot of a lot of great fun with that. I still need to do I still need to do some other parts of the game for those people that haven't played the game yet. There's some other parts of the game I need to do that I have not done, but I had a fantastic time.
So let us know what you guys picked for the categories that we went through. Maybe next week we'll hit some more categories as well. I did post over on my YouTube channel earlier today a question asking you guys, for true or falses, and we just didn't have time to get to those today. I'm going to save that post for next episode, so we'll talk more about that stuff next episode as well. We also have a bunch of games that we've been playing and that we're interested in checking out. We didn't get time to talk about those either, so nothing we could do about it. We're out of time. Rich, tell people what you're not working on right now.
I actually have been writing two things. So what you may see next is like the comparison between Steam machines and Xbox, right? Like everybody's been making that comparison, but I think I dive into the history of Microsoft and how they were on PC gaming back in the day. And you guys have seen that, at least the script for it, but that should be published sometime next week.
Very cool. What about you, Russ?
I got a lot going on. I'm in a weird spot where I'm really having to cut things. Like there's too many things to do, not enough time, which is always a shame. I'm working currently on a huge handheld called the Absolute 3D One, 11-inch screen, detachable controllers, and it's insane. And it has 3D like on the screen, kind of like a 3DS, like looking at your eyes kind of stuff. And so I'm that'll be my next video, but I got a lot of other things in the works too. I just had the Odin 3 come in the other day, so I got to make a review on that too. So lots going on here. I'm finding that I just take so long to make videos that it does prohibit me from making all the videos I want to.
Yeah, I understand that for sure. The video that I posted today was why now is the right time for Steam machines. So that one's out there and you guys can check it out. I also recently did my review of this puppy right here. I absolutely love the AYN Thor. I've been playing the hell out of this thing. Oftentimes when I'm talking to you guys on Discord, it's on this. Like I'll be playing a game and then you guys will say something and then I'll just bring up the voice chat. Not actual voice chat, but like voice typing. And I'll reply through that and then hit send and then hit the back button and I just go back to playing my game. Love this device. It's really, really great. And I'm also working on, it's literally the box came today and I have to open it up and get to work on it. I finally got in the analog 3D and I've been very excited for this as somebody who loved the N64. So look forward to that. Make sure you check out Russ over at Retro Game Core and Rich over at Fan the Deck. And I am Bill from the NerdNest. Thanks for hanging out with us. Stay rad, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys. See ya.